going to take a few podcasts to be able to explain the 12 things you need to know to be healthy. Hello, everybody. This is Dr. Heskett. I'm here with Caroline.
Hello, everybody.
We are excited about this next, actually, it's going to be a series of episodes. We've never done this before on the Coffee with a Chiro, but we're going to be breaking down the Dirty Dozen, the 12 things you need to know to be healthy. And so we're excited you joined us today. Before we do that, just want to take a second to say, if you're listening to this podcast and you have never been to one of our locations in Morristown or Dandridge, Rogersville, or Knoxville, this is your chance. All you have to do is call one of those locations. You can call the main one. It's 423-581-5519, and you can set up an appointment with us. Mention you heard us on this podcast, and for $47, you'll get your entire first visit for free. That includes your exam, your consultation, your x-rays, which is insane, as well as your first adjustment. So this breaks all barriers. We want to do that because you have been faithful to listen and to share and to like our podcast. I just heard from Caroline. We are moving up the ranks as far as the podcast is concerned. More and more listeners, and it is exciting to know that the content that we're sharing on here has been relevant as well as beneficial. So we want to thank you, all of our listeners, for listening in. We have a podcast that comes out every Tuesday. Every single Tuesday, we release a new episode. It's been going on for right at a year. We're about to start winding down our first season, and we thought there's no better way to be able to do that than to discuss the Dirty Dozen. So what we're going to do today is we're going to take a few podcasts to be able to explain the 12 things you need to know to be healthy. And since this is a podcast, this is an opportunity for us to go into detail. We're not here to bore you or insult your intelligence, but also, too, we feel like this is an opportunity that we can dive deep, go a little bit deeper into the principles that we teach in the office, the Dirty Dozen, on a daily basis. We're presently not only are we concerned about serving our patients at the highest level, but we also attend seminars at the Remarkable Practice to be able to train, to know what we need to do as a team. And I know a lot of you would agree in saying we have an unbelievable team at Heskett Family Chiropractic. They are just so amazing, and they train on a daily. Actually, we're meeting tomorrow to have a quarterly meeting where we train on how we can better serve you efficiently, and also we train on techniques to be able to know how to adjust you, where to adjust you. But these Dirty Dozen, Caroline, these are things that we discuss on a daily basis, tableside, with the patients. So we're going to take a dive deep into these. The first thing we're going to do is I'm going to read all of them out, and then we'll start back at number 1. And these are the 12 things you need to know to be healthy, or the Dirty Dozen. Number 1 is your body is designed to be healthy.
Number 2, your body is smart.
Number 3, innate intelligence communicates across your nervous system.
Number 4, your spine is your suit of armor.
Number 5, stress causes a condition known as subluxation.
Number 6, subluxation causes dysfunction that can manifest as symptoms and conditions.
Number 7, your life is unnaturally stressful.
Number 8, subluxation is caused by stress.
Number 9, how would you know if you have a subluxation?
Number 10, what should you do if you have a subluxation?
Number 11, we are on a mission to help our community.
Number 12 is I need your help.
So those are the 12, Caroline. And so what we're going to do, go ahead.
No, I was just going to sit here and say, like, this is such a good list. That we need to go through.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun to just break these down. I know when we're living our life at our everyday pace. That's what I love about podcasts. I feel like podcasts are something that someone listens to while they might be in their car, vacuuming or cleaning around the house or on a treadmill or whatever. So this is going to be a great way that we can just kind of hit the pause button a little bit and say, hey, what can I do? What are the 12 things I can do in order to be healthy?
Agreed. So I think let's start at the top and roll and go into detail about these. I think this is going to be so educational and helpful for our listeners. But I think sometimes, especially people like myself who I'm not a doctor, it really helps when you can kind of peel back the layers of the onion and talk into layman's terms as far as what do these concepts mean and how to help me understand them so then I can implement them into my life.
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
Yeah. Number one is your body is designed to heal. And so with that being said, what does that exactly mean from a chiropractic standpoint?
Well, I would say, first of all, I would say that this is where really, as far as Heskett Family Chiropractic is concerned, and this is a Heskett Family Chiropractic podcast.
Yes.
The office, it is impossible to separate in my life my faith and my belief with my job. And so even if I tried, I couldn't do that, because when you start at the beginning, the Word of God says, in the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth. The Word of God says that God knit us together in the womb. The Word of God says that He created us in His own image. And so for me personally, for Heskett Family Chiropractic, the very first dirty dozen, the very first tip you need to know to be healthy is know that you are designed to be healthy, that God created you out of His own image, and that the body is designed to work properly and be healthy. Now, we have stress. We have things, I won't jump ahead, but we have things that interfere with that. But, we got to start at the beginning and know that healthy is normal.
Mm-hmm.
Unhealthy is abnormal. That's where we start. So, the key there is to know that you are designed to be healthy, and you're designed and created in order to your body to work it. One of the things I think about, when Marge and I, we were having our first child, I watched her through that pregnancy, and all I kept thinking about was, wow, there's a baby inside of you that we created like that, or like He created, but two cells, right, came together to make one cell. And then next thing you know, 3 months later, it's like a little person in there, and he starts to form heart and lungs and pancreas and spleen and bladder and reproductive. Like all of these things are going on inside the womb. That's why it says He knit us together. And that's the biggest miracle in life to me, is that God created us, that, when we two come together and become one flesh, and then through that, there is a child. And then, for Marge, it wasn't 9 months. She was stubborn. So she went over 9 months every single time. And everybody's like, shouldn't you go to the doctor? We're like, as soon as the baby gets ready to come out, it's going to come out. Like, we're not stopping it. Like, it's happening. So when Gage, my first child, was born, I was just like, that was enough to me, like, to really, like, I believed in God, obviously, before that at a very young age. But when I saw Gage come into the world, I was like, oh my gosh. It was like the hand of the Lord put His hand on top of my head, and electricity went through my body. Like, I'm holding I remember I had the blessing of being in there, and Bradley was his husband, coached, method. So I caught my son. We had a midwife, and I caught him. And when I caught him, for that first instant, he was not breathing. Hadn't taken his first breath. But then when that first breath comes in, and you hear that cry, and it's just like, oh my gosh, like, what is this? And I'm sure as a mom, you can relate what I'm saying. But that's what we're talking about here. We're talking about two cells coming together, and it's designed, right? It's designed to be healthy.
And I think to take that, the full circle of this, of number one, and saying it's designed, your body's designed to stay healthy. But also when we talk about this, like God designed our bodies to heal. And he did that before you had modern medicine and vaccines and all of these multiple, different interventions. Like, that's what we're bringing this back to, is your body that God intricately designed to perfection can heal itself if you allow it to do so by staying healthy or continuing to get healthy, which is amazing.
It is. It's absolutely incredible. Which we'll roll into number 2, which says, I feel like we can at this point, because I want to discuss something here. Yeah. Your body is smart. So not only is your body designed to heal, but your body is intelligent. It's very smart. Mm-hmm. The Lord placed within it a healing power. In chiropractic, B.J. Palmer years ago, he wanted to label this, and he called it innate intelligence. B.J. Palmer was the developer of chiropractic. His dad, I'll give you a little background right here. His dad, D.D. Palmer, was the founder of chiropractic. In 1895, he was studying, health and how the body works. And there was a janitor that was cleaning the building where he was, who could not hear. And D.D. Palmer said, "Hey, let me check your spine." And he felt a knot in the upper cervical region of Harvey Lillard. He adjusted it. It was rather crude. It was not an adjustment that we make in our offices now. It was a crude and forceful adjustment. They heard a loud sound, and Harvey Lillard's hearing was restored through a second cervical adjustment. Now, there's debate in chiropractic on whether it was the second cervical or the first. So I won't get into detail there. But let's just say the first chiropractic patient was not a back pain or a low back pain or a neck pain or a headache, or it was deafness that was restored. And D.D. Palmer thought, I had discovered gold. Could you even imagine what that must have been like? No. This guy gets his hearing back, and you're like, well, there's something to this. And so what is going on?
Yeah, with that, you've got your first chiropractic adjustment ever, and those are the results. I mean, which were probably mind-blowing to him. Just, that's not even as far as he thought it was going to go. But right. So how do chiropractic adjustments like that one support the body's ability to heal?
Yeah, so the key is, which a lot of these, it's impossible to go over the dirty dozen without it all mixing, because that's the beauty of what we're educating on today, is that it's all intertwined, it's all connected. But how chiropractic plays a role in this is, when you walk into our office, we're going to get a history from you. And during that history, we're going to find out keys, symptoms, keys. Now, if you have pain, you can't see me at home, but if you have pain in your thumb and your first finger and your pointer finger, if you have pain there and it's radiating up into your arm, right, like, to you, that's just like, I have patients tell me that, and they're like, I have pain in this finger and in my thumb. Well, we learned in chiropractic school, that's the C6 shooter. So we know that C6 nerve. Where's C? Well, to the patient, it doesn't mean anything. Right. Of course, there's C7 and there's C8 and T1. There's different nerves that supply different areas. So when you tell me, hey, I got numbness in this first finger of my thumb, that's weird. It's weird to you, but to us, we're automatically thinking, wow, that's a symptom telling us there's something going wrong with the C6 shear, right? So we know that nerve is being affected. And that's kind of what I want to explain is your nervous system controls and coordinates the function of every cell, organ, and tissue in your body. So whenever you are experiencing symptoms are warning signals telling you, hey, something is not working properly within my body. And they can't be ignored. You know, the worst 4 words is it will go away. You can't just keep walking around with numbness in your shoulder, numbness in your arm and hand, or, you know, sinuses, allergies, headaches. These are, remember, the first principle. Healthy is normal, unhealthy is abnormal. Yes. So the way chiropractic works is we're going to find where these areas in the spine have subluxated, misaligned, where it's putting dangerous pressure on the nerve, and the chiropractor's job is to correct these misalignments or subluxation, which interfere with the transmission of impulses from the brain through the spinal cord to the rest of the body. Does that help?
Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
And when you're talking about, you know, a ton of people come into our offices saying they have this symptom or this issue or this problem. And so why don't you explain how in our offices and chiropractic care, you know, many people focus on treating the symptoms instead of allowing their body to heal naturally. So what's the difference between, you know, symptom management versus true healing?
Yeah, I dealt with it yesterday. My staff will come out and, you know, you hear different things. And I hope I'm not telling on some of you patients that are listening to this, but the patient will come in and they're like, look, they tell us, look, here's the deal. I have pain. I go to the chiropractor. Now, I can't say this out loud because it's a bad word, but he cracks me and then I'm healthy and then I'm good. So that's what I'm here for. That's what I'm here for. I'm here for it. Like, I want him to come in and crack me, and I want to leave. And when I hurt again, I want to come back and get cracked again. Oh, now I'm fine with that, because to me, that's what gets me up in the morning. That's what floats my boat, because I get the opportunity to educate someone that, hey, look, you can do that. There's nothing wrong with that. That's not a sin. That's not wrong. But I had a guy yesterday, same thing, and the staff comes out, you know, whoever takes the intake, like, look, this guy does not want to be x-rayed. He doesn't want long-term care. He just wants to be popped. He just wants to be this. And they don't say that to me because they know I'll run out of the building. But they said he just wants an adjustment. That's what we call it. That's the proper. By the way, this is a podcaster and we're learning. If you want me to really, you want to see my eyeballs get really wide, walk in the office. If we're doing something on this podcast, walk in the office and say, whew, I'm so excited to get my subluxations checked today. I don't know what I would do, Carol. I would be like, yes, the podcast is working. I want to get my subluxations checked. And I can't wait to get adjusted so my nervous system is clear. I don't know. I would take a lap. I probably would just run outside the building. But that's actually what we're doing is we are checking that spine. But I want to explain something. There's really in today's world, there's 2 types of chiropractors. And I'll tell you where we fall. And I'm not faulting the other ones. It's just the way they choose to practice. Yes. There's symptom care. There's a lot of franchises. I won't mention it out there, but they're based on symptom care. They're saying you walk in, you have a pain, and the patient kind of orders up what they want. Give me some fries, a shake, 2 neck bones. I'll take a double transverse in my back there. I like folding my arms, put it back, turn me on my side, do this, do that, and the patient walks out. and they have a symptomatic temporary relief,
Right.
and they think they're healthy. Okay? That is not what we do. At our office, we want to assess you. Not only do we want to get you feeling better, we want to get you functioning better. Because remember, you can feel fantastic and have a heart attack. You can feel great and have breast cancer. You can feel great and have an episode of diverticulosis. You have no idea, what is going on unless you are taking care of your body from this chiropractic is not the only standpoint. We talk about on here how it's important to have corrective exercises and break bad habits and have a good diet. But I want to just go back to what I'm saying. Focus here. There's a symptom care and there's corrective care. Yes. Corrective care is what we do. We're going to find out what phase you're in, how long your spine has been under stress, how long there's been degeneration, and then we're going to put you on a corrective care plan to get your spine back to as close to normal alignment as humanly possible. If you're in phase 3 or phase 4 and you look at your x-rays in our office after 6 months, you may not see much change. Don't be discouraged. A phase 3 to phase 4, we'll talk about in a later podcast, that can take 20, 30, 40 years to get in that shape. So it takes time to correct it. You don't just go in there and correct it in one day. So symptom care is just covering up the symptom, like taking a drug, so your symptoms go away. Corrective care is correcting the cause, the root cause of the problem, so your nervous system and your body can function at its optimal.
I love that. And I think when patients really start to fully hear that out, it's like something in your brain just switches, like a light bulb goes on. And when you realize you've been under like symptom management, pain management, and you go from, okay, let's rip the Band-Aid off and actually work on healing the wound and then staying healthy, that's a game changer.
Yeah, I had a guy yesterday, I was doing a report, and he's very fit. And, I related it to, he was in great health, young guy. I said, we started talking about correcting it, and he asked me the question, can I come once a week? And I said, yes, because you can. I'm not going to tell you what to do, but can I ask you a question? He said, yeah. I said, can you look like you look and exercise one time a week? And he was like, well, no, I actually train people, and I tell them they don't get results. And I tell them, I say, you're not getting the results because you're not doing the diet I told you. Mm-hmm. You're not showing up for your workouts. You're not doing what I ask. And I said, bro, we're on the same page. Like, we're on the exact same page. Yeah, you can come one time a week, and you may have symptomatic relief. You may feel better, but you're in phase 2. So if you want to get from phase 2, you're very young. You're 20, 23, 24 years old. If you want to get back to near normal, get that curve in your neck, get that lower back in tip-top shape so you can squat 9,000 pounds, which is what he was doing. If you want to do that, right, then you're asking me, can I accomplish that in one time a week? And I'm telling you, overall function, no. Symptom, yes. And I want to share something too, right, while we're on this subject. If you're a patient and you're on a struggle bus, there's a lot of times you get on the struggle bus and you're like, whew, I don't think I'm going to come out of this. Yeah. Check yourself. And what I mean by check yourself, if you're having lower back pain and it's constant, how's your core? What does your core look like? If you're having neck pain, like, how much time do you spend looking down at your cell phone all day instead of doing those neck exercises that we have on YouTube? You can go to Heskett Family Chiropractic YouTube right now, and you can learn how to stretch your lower back. You learn how to stretch your neck. We're constantly putting material, free material, like unbelievable content on YouTube that you can go to and access it.
Mm-hmm. Agreed. And that goes into my next question is, especially for patients out there, when we're doing the corrective care and they're coming in, whatever their plan looks, what are some of those practical steps? One being, get on our YouTube and check out stretching that we have available. But along with that, what are some of the other ways patients support their body's process in between chiropractic visits?
That's awesome. Yeah. The first thing you do if you're a patient in our office is attend that BRF. You come to the better results faster. That's first. That's the go-to. You say, why would I do that? Well, one of our doctors is going to sit down with you and they're going to talk about why you need chiropractic care. What is health? Where are we at as far as health concern in the United States of America? We spend the most money. We rank 37th. We're 37th in infant mortality. 36 other countries live long. I was just listening to Robert Kennedy's concession speech, and this guy's out there. He's
doing the Lord's work,
bringing the mail on. We have a health crisis. Guys, if you're listening to the podcast, we have a health crisis in the United States of America. If you don't believe me, go online and look up a picture on the people on the beach in 1965. There were no obese people. There were none. They used to have, this is horrible to say, but I'm just telling you the facts. This is a fact. They had a fat man or a fat woman at the circus. Why? Right. Because it was an anomaly. It's not making fun. It's not normal. It's not normal. So there it is. They had that at the circus, y'all, back in the 20s and 30s, like it was a thing because it wasn't the norm. And the reason it wasn't the norm is because of this fast-paced life that is fast food.
Yes.
Fast food. Everything's fast. Immediate gratification. Mountain Dews. Like all these things. Energy drinks. All these things that, so if you're sitting there and you're listening to this, you're like, what can I do in the meantime? Make small improvements. Like, don't try to just do everything today. But how about we break some bad? There's three-legged stool. Adjustments in rhythm, corrective exercises, and breaking those bad habits. If we want to get
podcast that's the one before this or two before this with Dr. Camiolo that is live, goes all into detail and rolls out the three-legged.
That's exactly right. Yes, that's exactly right. What she's saying is point on. Like, you want to take a deep dive into that, Dr. Camiolo does an exceptional job. And go back and look up his podcast on the three-legged stool of adjustments in rhythm. But just as a brief overview, adjustments in rhythm, corrective exercise, and breaking bad habits, the first thing I would say out there is just do a self-evaluation. We spend so much time on Facebook, so much time on the internet. We're doing this the day of the debate and elections coming up and all this stuff it's overwhelming us. And is it important? Yeah, it's important, but it can't overtake us, overwhelm us. We can't just neglect our health and go, hey, I'm not getting any better, but I'm pounding 4 or 5 Mountain Dews a day, energy drinks, 7 Cokes, and I wonder why my nervous system and my body's not healing. Right. And even there, maybe there's somebody you hadn't forgiven. I want to tell you how many people come in our office and they have health issues based upon they're just bitter. Like, they have emotional stresses. They refuse to forgive. They're angry. Like, I want to tell you, we have been doing this for 28 years. And when you hurt, you're aggravated. And so I never judge. I don't care who it is. Now, my team, they're like, woo, wait till you go in the report room. This one's a doozy. To me, I say immediately, my response is, praise the Lord. Thank you, God, that you are sending someone in this office. They're pissed off. They're mad. They're angry. And our job is not to go in and try to be angry too or try to make them, I'm not trying to make them happy. My job is to go in there and realize there are things that has happened in this person's past that I have no clue about. They could have been abused as a child. They could have been neglected. They could have been, I don't know. I don't know. They could have, went through foster care. I don't know. They could have just lost their job. They could have fell on hard times. They could have been I don't know. There's a whole list of things. And so what I'm saying is I want to walk into that room and I want to be like, how can we bring hope? Because the Bible says without hope, hope deferred makes the heart sick. And so you can't be well if you hold on to stuff. You have to have, and then no one talks about this. Everyone thinks health is like, oh, well, my diet's bad, or, this is wrong, or I threw my low back out. People don't go, hey, let me tell you something. Emotionally,
yes.
Like, people that are angry and bitter are some of the sickest people. And that's because your brain and spinal cord control function. And if you don't take time to rest your body, if you don't take time it is impossible, Caroline, for me to be thankful and angry at the same time. Yeah. Now, let me tell you something. Some of the healthiest patients in my office, the flip side of that, are the people that have good attitudes. They're very thankful. Now, they may be in pain. There's a difference.
Correct.
Hey, I'm in pain, but I'm here. And I want to tell you what, guess what? My daughter got married and they're having a baby. So they're focused on the blessings in their life. And when that happens, the principle that we're going over today, number 2, your body is smart. Do you think your body has the best capability to work at its optimum, to be right? If you have a positive, overflowing, grateful, thankful worship attitude, or a pissy one? I'm going to go with option A. I'm saying, now, do I ever go to the office and feel bad? Absolutely. Like,
everybody has bad days.
But guess what? It has never benefited me at all to put that on someone else.
No, I totally agree. And for those who feel like their bodies aren't healing like they should, what should be their first step towards getting back on track?
Yeah, I'm sorry. You got to get me back on track. That's what I was going to say.
Because you could have somebody out here that's upset and stressed and just negative and in a hole. And sometimes I feel like, especially in the world that we live in, with so much information, it's like information overload. You get so bogged down, you just don't know where to start.
So I want to answer this before I forget to actually answer your question. I believe that you start with the self-evaluation, and you know what it is. If you're eating on the inside of the grocery store, start eating on the outside. Start picking foods that are alive. Just simple. If you're drinking Coke every day, change it to water. Just drink water. Break those bad habits. If you're vaping, like vaping is crazy. I remember vaping. Smoking, whatever. I mean, I would even say if you're smoking a pack a day, cut down to 3 cigarettes a day. I don't know. Start taking steps. Do something to move towards health, towards life, towards vivification. I can tell you this, if you're resting on, relying upon anything except, the Lord to be able to feel, to be able to do what he needs to do in your life, break those bad habits. Turn to the Word. Like read the Bible instead of get off Facebook. For some of you, I mean, your whole life is how many likes you get, and whether you put a comment on Facebook or a post, and then we backtrack it to see, my friend so and so didn't say they like that my kid has all A's and B's. Like, let it go, man. Let it go. Like, I got off of social media, and my friend was just teaching me. He's like, "You're not really off social media." I'm like, "Yes, I am." He's like, "Well, I see you on there." I'm like, "Well, I didn't Well,
It's us. We took all the place.
I promise you, I'm not lying.
Yes.
I'm not on there, and I don't think I'm better than the people that are. But if you were to ask me why, Michael, why? It was occupying space in my brain that is not the vision that God has planned out for my life. I don't have time. I need to work on Michael personally, physically, spiritually, in every single way. I am committed to being the best that, I can possibly be. And I can't do that when I'm consumed with what somebody's doing in Abbeville, Alabama, where I graduated high school. I don't know. It doesn't matter. And I'm not saying I don't love the people I graduated high school. I do love them. But I would rather go to a reunion and actually find out some things about their life without knowing it already. That's way more fun to me. Like, oh my gosh, your kid had a kid? Because that's how old I am now. I've been out of high school for 30 years, 35. So I'm like, oh my gosh, you're like a great grandparent? Like, how'd that happen? Or whatever. I would rather do that way than I would find out through social media. So break some of those bad habits. Cut back on Facebook. Stop watching the news. I mean, the news is just negative Nancy. Cut off soft drinks. Change your diet. And some of that might be the people you hang around. I'm not saying you get rid of your friends, but I'm saying if every time you're around your friend and they don't ever say anything positive and they're not speaking life into your life.
Yes.
Hey, you have a choice. One thing I've learned when I turned 52, I just had a birthday, September 7th. I turned 52 years old. And one thing I'm learning about this, hopefully I get a second half. My goal is to go past 100. But one thing I've learned in the second half of my life, I don't want to waste my time. I don't want to waste my time around people that are not lined up with the vision that God is playing for my life, what he's doing. They don't encourage me. I love about my mom? She's my mama, first of all. But, a lot of people can have moms when they come around and they're like, where you been? You ain't called me. How come? Hey, you ain't called me in 2 weeks. My mom has never used guilt over me. And, oh, man, my made me start crying. She has never talked to me in a way that made me feel guilty about who I am or the decisions that God has placed in my life. To me, that's how I want to be with my kids. I don't want them to come around me and be like, well, where have you been? Good thing you stopped by. I could have died and you didn't even know it. That's not funny. That's not uplifting. That's not anything. So all I tell my kids so much. I know they're like, why is he saying that to me? But I tell them, I love you. Like I tell them so much that I can tell they're like, I know you do. I know you do. But if there's one,
and I'm like, well, you need to know.
Yeah. Well, if there's one thing and that they're special, like I love you special. But what I was going to say, when I be that kind of person for somebody else, when I'm around my mom, she says, now y'all may not think, she goes, woo, you are so handsome. God. And when I leave from being around her, she's 90. She's turning 90. And I can't say where she's at, but she's in a nursing home here in town. And I'm supposed to go up there to encourage her. And she is still speaking life, blessings, encouragement over me. And that is so gigantic. I mean, that is probably the biggest thing this whole podcast. Start speaking life into people, over people, instead of guilt or why don't you do this? Because I know what you say. If you're listening, you say, I would never do what my parents did. It's actually quite the opposite. We have to break the curses that have been, and I've cursed I'll curse my kids, but I have wounded. That's the right word. I've wounded my kids. So I want to break those wounds and be able to, and we all get wounded. But the thing about it is, you say, what does all that have to do with health? Everything. Everything to do with your body's designed to heal and your body is smart. So get on it, get on YouTube, get on those exercises. That would be an action step. So you're stretching and exercising your body. I've been walking lately. Say again?
I said common sense changes, like you said before. Just
I've been walking.
Steps you do. Like
Walking. Yeah, I've been walking lately. Marge and I've been going. And to me, I'm going to tell you, I'll just be honest with you. I thought, walking, like, how's that going to, but I've been doing it for a week and a half, and I'm looking forward to walking up this hill in my neighborhood, walking around the circle and walking back by, and Marge and I are walking. So we're talking. That's a great way for relational, because, men need to be doing an activity before they communicate. They communicate so much better rather than face-to-face. Women are face-to-face. Men are. So get out, get your spouse out, go for a walk for 20 minutes. Every single day, get my heart rate up. And it's been awesome. Like, I feel better.
Yeah.
Like, when I get done, I get my heart rate up, and it's just amazing. I know you've been doing that with the kids some too, right?
Yeah, and they actually, Harvard Medical Journal just released their study this week that says, you're going to freak out when you hear this, walking 10,000 steps a day reduces your chances of getting Alzheimer's or dementia by 50%.
That's so awesome.
That's like, you don't even have to take a drug or a pill or just walk 10,000 steps a day. That's wild.
That's so awesome. And remember, Terry Harmon, go back and listen to his podcast. He has a podcast on here, which just recently here, I decided that I'd be able to coach health-wise by him, get my house in order, get things that in order about my health. So, but go back and listen to his podcast. He talks about walking, how it releases the hormone relaxin. He talks about how the body has that hormone, and it's the greatest thing that you can have as far as your health is concerned. So we got a lot of great podcasts on here, but this has been great. I've really enjoyed it. We were able to go for the first two, Dirty Dozen, and we'll continue to push through these. We may have some guests in between these, but want to remind you that one of the very first steps that you can do if you're not a patient is call our office. Call 423-581-5519. That's 423-581-5519. Do it right now. Call the office, get an appointment. It's $47. Just say we're on Coffee with a Chiro. You can get your entire first visit for $47. Exam, consultation, x-rays, and the first adjustment. You can also go to HeskettChiropractic.com. That is a great way to kind of get to know what we do, who we are, and how we work. Caroline, this is good. I'm fired up about going through the Dirty Dozen.
Thank you.
Today was a great podcast. We love you guys. We're praying for you. And until we see you again on the next Coffee with a Chiro.
Bye, guys.
See you guys.
If you want to achieve optimal health and make a huge impact on lives around the world, listen up. Exposing your worth, value, and significance is the heart behind Redeem Essentials. What you may not know is how far that statement goes. When you purchase from Redeem Essentials, 10% of that money goes to our partner, Matthew 10 International, which works tirelessly to bring freedom, both spiritually and physically, to folks around the world who are desperately in need, exposing their worth, value, and significance. Your relationship with Redeem Essentials no longer impacts you alone. Now you have the opportunity to make a massive impact on people's lives everywhere. Redeem Essentials. Your choice, their freedom.